Does anyone else like need the toilet after they fill the bike up? Is it just me that just like refuels and think, oh, I need a wee? Oh yeah! Don't look at the crack in my arse. You know, I saw a little video on Instagram about an old Nazi prison guard that was finally sentenced for what he did during the war. I think it's because he wanted to cover his face up, and like to read in the comments, the comment section was rabid, right? And fair play, the guy did some horrific stuff. It's only right that there should be some sort of comeuppance. But the thought in my head was, I wonder how many of these people in the comments being so righteous would have made all the same decisions had their roles been switched, right? If they were in the position where they were a German in Hitler's Germany and they were watching all those people being tortured and killed, and anyone who didn't do it, didn't join in, were also persecuted. Because it's easy to be like super righteous when you'll never have to defend your beliefs. It's like all those people like you see, do you know when they do the migrants welcome protests or whatever, and then you'll get someone coming around with a saying like, would you be willing to, you know, open your home to a migrant if it was needed? And then like everyone goes, yes, of course, I would definitely do that, yes, of course. And then he brings over like Jamal or something, so like massive black guy, and he goes, right, this guy's looking for would you take him in? And they're all like, oh no, obviously not right now, it's not a good time right now, we can't do it now. Everyone starts immediately backpedaling because they've just been confronted with possibly having to defend their positions. It's happened quite a few times where people have sitting in like actual I saw that there's someone, like a woman who was in like an actual castle defending, like, yeah, let them all in. Man, I got massive walls they can't climb over. I don't mind. Do you know, I'm reminded of a time during COVID when everyone was putting on the masks, and I was like, no, I don't really see the point in the masks. They're even like, oh, surgeons wear them for hours at a day, and I'm like, yeah, but they also like change all the clothing, scrub up, go into a sterile location. You know, they don't just like slap a mask on the face and go, yep, that's job done, right? I was like, well, what's a pointless thing for me to bother doing? So I never bothered doing it. Same with the vaccine. Not right. The reason why, if you wouldn't, why I never did and still haven't, was because, right, when you look at like medical trials, they typically last for many years, and I assume that's for safety reasons. So when they like banged out a vaccine in a couple of months, I was thinking either A, they've known about this virus for quite some time, or B, they've just slapped something together that's probably not going to work. Plus, statistically, I wasn't in a high-risk zone, so I couldn't care less, right? Also, the vaccine didn't mean that you couldn't spread it, you just feel the effects less. I was fully aware that COVID was a real thing and was really affecting real people, for reals, okay? It just didn't, there was no data to say it had any impact on my life. So I wasn't really going to put anything injected into my veins. And then the day came when I crashed my bike in the middle of COVID. And in the hospital, the patients weren't required to wear the masks because, I can't remember, they gave me a reason, but I was on a lot of drugs. Then when it came to coming in for like my visits and checkups and stuff, they were, you know, it's like, put your mask on. And I didn't have any kind of like moral quandary, like, oh no, I don't think they do anything. I didn't try to argue my point. I was like, well, my leg's broken, it's currently in a brace. I'd like this thing removed, please. I'll put my nap in my face. Crumbled. And I do remember when I was getting prepped by the surgeon for my operation, and the guy said, "Have you been vaccinated?" And I said no, and he said, "Why not?" And I said, "Because I haven't." Right? I couldn't be bothered to try and like explain myself to the guy, and he didn't really sort of push it any further. It was just sort of like, "Have you been vaccinated?" "No." "Why not?" "Because I haven't." "Okay." And then we carried on with the rest of the prep. And I'm wondering, what would have happened if he'd said, "Oh, in that case, we're not going to go forward with the operation"? Would I have just suddenly shouted, "Please stick me, Daddy, please stick me now"? Or would I went like, "Well, I'll just carry on living with a broken leg then"? Do you know what I mean? Like, they had me over a barrel, essentially. They could have asked me for whatever they wanted, and I would have capitulated. Is that the equivalence of war crimes? Does that mean I would have also been a war criminal? I'd like to think no. I think everyone would like to think they wouldn't. But, you know, unless you're, you know, enlisting in, you know, whatever country's army to fight back against their injustice, just wind your neck in. I mean, standing around in Trafalgar Square wearing one of those checkered scarves, I don't really think it's having the impact that you think it would. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I would like to see, actually? I would like to see a bunch of vegans trying to explain to some starving third world village while they should still try and get a pure plant-based diet on the go. I'd love to see that kind of reaction. See what they have to say. "I haven't eaten for 5 weeks." Yeah, but when you do, make sure it's a carrot, okay? Just a carrot.